Take a listen to this.
Year 7, Day 189. Postscript.
What you just heard were some new files that were added into Dead by Daylight that potentially could reveal what the next chapter is going to be for the anniversary. Welcome back to Theory Time. I am your host, The King, and we got some spicy information for you guys. As you guys heard in the beginning of the videos,
Year 7, Day 189. Postscript.
James Rich. Journal of a moving picture. Of dreams and madness.
Night, afternoon, morning.
some new files are added into Dead by Daylight. These being pretty much unused narrator sounds, and we can hear a different voice from the Observer, one that we haven't heard before. So does this have any correlation to what's to come in the anniversary chapter? Well, that's where the theory begins. If you haven't noticed, on the PTB, if you head over to the archive section, you can see that the Observer's room is completely in shambles. We see that there's no Observer as well, and there's even footprints around as if someone broke in and there was a big fight going on. So this left a lot of people curious on where exactly did the Observer go to? Is this a clue leading to the potential of the next chapter? And what does it all mean if it's not? Well, based on some of the cutscenes that we've seen with the Observer, we know that he's constantly being hunted by a bunch of different things, and the entity is trying to get him out of the realm and his safe space. And it seems that the entity might have finally had the upper hand, with someone actually going in and getting rid of him essentially. Now, we don't know if he's still alive or if he's still around, as he's not in the room itself, but according to these new files and these new audios, it seems that there's a new narrator reading everything, so one can assume that the new narrator will take the place of the Observer. And that then sets up the potential. Is this the new killer that is speaking? Is this the new survivor Haddie potentially that is speaking? We don't really know. Nonetheless, this is all pretty interesting and does lead to some good theories. Now, this could be a red herring, and this could have just been something that the developers decided to test and they just left in there all nonchalantly, but typically that's never really the case. We don't really see files that are in there that aren't really used. Everything kind of has a purpose. So potentially this could either be the new Observer who is talking, which could be the new survivor Haddie. Now, if you don't know who I'm talking about and who Haddie is, she is the survivor that is speculated to come out with the brand new anniversary chapter. According to data miners and DBD News, it is saying that the new survivor is going to be an original one, being Haddie. We don't know if this is true or not, but this is the biggest lead that we have thus far, so take it with a grain of salt. Assuming that this is indeed real, Haddie is seen in various different tome entries as a psychic investigator who has her own Hell web series where she investigates a bunch of paranormal phenomenon and historical tragedies. She works very hard to expose the Black Veil, who we know have a major part in Dead by Daylight's lore. And in case you don't know who the Black Veil is, they're basically a cult that is devoted to the entity itself, sacrificing many people, and even have ties to Elodie, Carmina or the artist, and even the twins. It's believed that the origin of the Black Veil itself was the religion that was led by the plague, so there's a lot that is currently going on. Regardless, I digress. Haddie is trying to expose the Black Veil across various realities, and she's alongside her stepbrother and produced with her step-uncle with a mysterious benefactor. And we do also need to note that she has the ability to see what others cannot and view that overlaps between different realities as well as the events in the past. So Haddie actually has a little bit of psychic powers. So this could make sense if she were to come in as a new survivor, that she could potentially become the new Observer. Maybe she knows who the Observer truly is and she needed to get rid of him. Or maybe she knew that the power that the Observer presented, as he can see in the past just like her. So this role kind of fits in perfect if this were to happen. Now, moving on a little bit more, I want to talk about something that was in the actual files itself. The 6-year anniversary was revealed, the logo essentially. Now this one is quite interesting. Every single year there is a little correlation that goes on with the way they designed it. For example, with the Dead by Daylight 4th year anniversary, the 4 was very similar to Pyramid Head. in the 5th year anniversary. It was very, very similar to the Hook on Resident Evil. That one's a little bit more of a stretch to the daughters having the Hook weapons, but it was something that people correlated nonetheless. So if we are speculating and we are continuing, what exactly does this 6 mean? A lot of people are saying that this could be a spider or a claw that represents the entity, some going as far as saying that this could be Candyman. I don't think that this character is going to be licensed. I really do believe that they're going to be original, so I'm gonna have to back the spider or vampire or whatever type of theory, and assume that their weapon could be a hook or this has something to do with the entity. But what I want to take more focus on is the actual skull that we're seeing on the left. Every single year this changes, but we notice something a little bit interesting with this year's. It's not exactly gold like previous years, it's more entity burnt, but we see a lot of blue on it. Now shout out to Myers, he was actually the one that showed me all of this and even given me the files for the audio. But he pointed out that Michaela and her boon totems are blue. They're a blessing, it's her unique little ability, and blue basically signifies good. We know that Haddie also has some psychic powers in her. She is able to see the past, etc. And if blue is this constant representation of something that is good and helps the survivors, could this potentially mean that Haddie entering this world, taking the new position as the brand new observer, shakes up the entity's realm and she's now gaining some power among the entity? It's a pretty crazy theory, but that's kind of what I'm getting with these images here. And I know it sounds pretty ludicrous. How can we even speculate something based on just an image? But that's what we do here on Theory Time. So if this theory was indeed true, it means that Haddie Kuwar is coming in as the brand new survivor. She will be the brand new observer and she will start narrating things. As to whether she killed the previous observer or got rid of him, we don't really know what went down, and maybe we'll find out. But if this is true, it means she's now in the entity's realm and she's harnessed all the power and she somehow figured out a way to basically give the entity a run for its money. And that, my friends, is the theory on what all of this is. We have the leaked audio files that could potentially mean that Haddie is a new observer, because we know the observer's room has been completely destroyed, and with this banner it can back it up a little bit more. I hope you guys did enjoy this theory. It was a little bit of a stretch putting it all together, but if it does turn out to be true, I'm gonna be pretty excited and I can't wait to see what this actually means. As for the killer, that's another video. Who the killer is, what their power will be, what can we speculate, we'll save that for next time. But that's gonna do it for me. As always, I'm the king. I tip my crown to you guys, and we'll see you in the fog.